In this video, I'll touch on 4 things. Number 1, how does Emcor make money? Number 2, what's the latest news on this stock? Number 3, what are the latest ratings in Tykr? And number 4, is this a stock I plan to buy, hold, or sell? And just so you know, if you want to see ratings on this stock and other stocks in the market, you can join Tykr for free. All right, let's get started. So how does Emcor make money? Essentially, what do they do? Well, they are a specialist in mechanical, electrical, and industrial construction. There's a lot of other services they provide aside from that, but that's kind of a high-level description. And what they do is they essentially help build data centers, water treatment plants, wastewater plants, healthcare buildings, energy buildings, and a lot of stuff around HVAC. They do a lot more than that, but that's a good example of what they do. I also try to look up who some of their customers are. I always like to know, or in most cases, I like to know, hey, the businesses I'm investing in, who are their customers? Because if they have some big names, that adds a lot to their resume. Well, they don't disclose any of their business customers, but on the government side, check this out. They work with the FBI, the Pentagon, NASA, various divisions of the U.S. government, Health and Human Services, and U.S. military bases. So not bad. Those are some solid government contracts. All right, let's touch on point 2, which is the latest news. So their last earnings report was actually pretty good. The revenue beat their expectations, but the stock fell 10% because of poor guidance. Now, for context here, I'm seeing this behavior with a lot of stocks right now where everything is looking good. They're reporting great financials. Everything we are looking for as value investors, everything from the past is looking great, but it's the guidance. Every time you hear guidance, it's the speculation of what will happen in the future. I'm seeing the overreaction from a lot of financial institutions. They'll hear like a slight issue with guidance and the share price drops 5, 10, 15%. It's ridiculous. It's like institutions right now are looking for an excuse to sell off. And we're seeing a lot of that happening as we speak. So their guidance wasn't great. And personally, I really don't care what guidance is because it doesn't show what you did. It's like if you're a basketball player and you go to your coach and you're like, yeah, I'm going to put 30 points on the board this game. Show me. Like, we want to see the results. We don't want to hear talk. Unfortunately, on Wall Street, you get a lot of businesses or a lot of, again, large financial institutions that do a major sell-off when the guidance, what the feelings are into the future are not what they want to hear. So this was an overreaction. On that note, let's get into Tykr and take a look at the ratings. All right, we're going to walk through the 7. There is a tab you can click on right here. That'll save you a ton of time. We're not going to click on it yet. We're going to kind of go through this manually so you have a little more context behind the rating system in Tykr. And of course, if you are interested, you can go to Tykr.com, education, down to calculations. Our calculations are open source. We just want to create a little transparency. There's no like secret sauce or black box. It's pretty straightforward value investing. So let's get an Emcor. Walking through the 7, the first thing we want to look at is that summary. Stocks in Tykr are either on sale, watch, or overpriced. That's green, gray, or red. And we see that Emcor is on sale and only 15% of stocks make it to on sale in the market. That's actually pretty hard to get to. All right, next up, we want to see a score of 50 or higher. This is the overall financial strength, so we're looking good there. We're 2 for 2. Then we go over to the margin of safety. You want to see a margin of safety of 50% or higher. This is the upside potential, and right here, it's looking really good. I see a lot of investors out there looking at share price. We as value investors, and thank you to Warren Buffett on this one, is we don't want to pay attention to share price. We want to pay attention to fair value. That's where the share price is going based on the EPS growth rate. That's the profits of the business. So we can see here the estimated share price, and this is into 10 years into the future, is $2,900 now. So just know that if you see a stock that's north of $1,000 share price or fair value that's higher than $1,000, don't be alarmed. A lot of stocks actually do get there. All right, next up, we're looking at the middle here. This is the 4M Confidence Booster. I'll show you what this looks like. The 4Ms, and thank you to Phil Town on this. You have the math part, then you have the meaning, that is the business. How does it make money? Then you have the moat, how it compares to other businesses. And then you have the management, that's the track record of the CEO. Essentially, doing this manually would take you hours, if not days of research. We use OpenAI built into Tykr. Tykr, we reduced that down to seconds. And you don't even have to go through this 4M experience, which takes like a minute. You can simply go here, 4M confidence booster, and you can see the average from the community. And getting over 80 is actually very hard to do. So 86, that's looking really good. All right, so we're 4 for 4. Let's keep going. Next up, 5-year returns. We want to invest in stocks that are consistently beating the market, not just over 1 year, but 5 years. And the number to remember is 80%. Typically, the S&P 500 returns about 80% over 5 years. Well, check this out. 568%. That is outstanding. Let's keep going here. We're actually almost done. Over to the financials tab. We want to make sure this is flipped to quarterly, and then we go to EPS, earnings per share. This is the number one most important line on the income statement, cash flow statement, and balance sheet. Essentially, it's the profits of the business. And we want to see 3 quarters in a row where it's increasing. In other words, those profits continue to increase. That's a great sign. Well, we are seeing 2 quarters. And you see here it's $6.74, but it did drop off a little bit at $6.59. Still pretty good, but it's not increasing. Doesn't mean it's the end of the world with this stock, but I'll keep my eye on this one. Let's keep going. One more thing to look at, earnings calendar. We want to see those stocks beating their earnings estimate, and we can see here they did. Narrow margin of 0.46%, but they still beat it. I'm just curious here. I'm going back in time to see when they last missed. Looks like, April of 22. That's a pretty good track record. All right, so we went through the 7 manually. Let's go ahead. Let's click on the 7 and see what we get. I think it's going to be a 6, probably a 6 on this one. 6 out of 7. There you go. So getting to a 5 or higher is what you want to be looking for. In this case, 6. Outstanding. So this leads up to what am I doing with the stock? Well, I've got a watch list of about 100 stocks. I'd say Emcor is probably in my top 10 to 15. This is a really strong stock. I have a really good portfolio right now. If there's any stock I plan on selling, I tell you what, I may look at moving Emcor into my portfolio. It's just you look at what they're doing and how complex their business model is creating these really large physical infrastructures, especially for some of those customers like NASA and FBI. I mean, that's serious business. And finding another contractor to, build buildings with the amount of security you need in place, there's probably very few players that can compete with Emcor. It's just they've been around a long time and they provide a great service. So I like this stock a lot. Again, I'm not buying it right now. I'd have to sell something first, and then I'd probably slip this into my portfolio. If you want to see ratings on this stock and more, you can join Tykr for free. And thank you for staying to the end. Please like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Referrals from friends are one of the best ways to build a business. So thanks for that. Thanks for checking out this video. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.